Well, hello and welcome to sunny-ish Aberystwyth. We're at Lletty Park for a nice little classic meet. It's something new that started in this area, a relatively new club. Seems to have an interesting mix of vehicles, so we brought a slightly filthy Giselle GSA down to see what's what. So we'll start down the far end of this lineup. It's a Chevrolet Camaro. I think this is the third time we've seen that this year. It was at the show down in Pembrokeshire last weekend. It still looks absolutely gorgeous and still looks absolutely enormous next to this lovely little beige Mini, which is on some very tasty little 10-inch wheels that I really like the look of. I love a Mini on 10-inch wheels. I think they just look so mean and purposeful. So definitely liking that. And we've got some interesting limited edition Austins here today, starting with this Metro Mosaic. So it's just a special edition back in the day, different interior trim I think it was, but this one's not massively stock. Loving the old corgi boxes, but you got mosaic-y seat trim, I think was the main thing on these. And I think you did also get the rear spoiler of the MG. That might have been an addition, as is the removal of the rear wiper. It would have had a rear wiper from factory. Wow, 6 left. I can well believe that. There were a lot of special edition Metros and I don't think they sold in massive numbers. The Metro Advantage, one of my favourites. Again, that also looks like an MG. We've got a Subaru Impreza done up very much in the WRC style with the old stickers. I do miss the sounds of flat fours on the World Rally scene. Quite magnificent. Next to Giselle we've got an MG TF. The TF was a facelift of the MGF, mid-engine, K-series engine. But they replaced the hydrogas suspension with conventional coil springs. I've never driven a TF. Be interesting to see how they compare with the F. I'm told a bit firmer, but I'm told they do handle very well. Those MG Rover chassis engineers knew what they were doing. Next to Giselle on the other side, Morris Minor Panda car. So the old police cars. I'm not sure they actually had bells, but this one looks nice with a bell on the front bumper. It's got the light on the roof, it's got the radio on the dashboard. So yeah, that's a great sight. These were once very, very common. Obviously not your high-speed pursuit vehicle. This would be used for just pottering around locally, really.
So how exactly can this be? How exactly can you get a fine for driving this, even though it's no longer?
Yeah, that is the thing. If you're into looking after historic police vehicles, you have to be very careful because the police do still own some police cars themselves, some classic ones. The famous case of a Rover SD1 historic police car actually being used for a police mission because they were taking it to a classic car show, but the driver was active police, had to go and attend a car crash in a Rover SD1. So these things happen. So they have to be very careful driving to and from shows. I think this is a Renault Megane. I don't really know. It's a bit modern for me. Let's go around the back. No clues. It's just got RS. It's a Renault RS. Yeah. I'm out of my depth with the modern stuff. But back to the limited editions. Look, we've got a Mini Sidewalk special edition. Not a very common one, I don't think, but look inside, the amazing tartan seats, the red seat belts. It looks absolutely brilliant. I really like it. Another rally replica next to it, the Lancia Delta Integrale. These were only built in left-hand drive, hence the wipers, but actually this one has been converted. There was a garage, Bell and Colville did a lot of conversions on these. So the steering wheel is actually on the right hand side here. But yeah, wow. Very, very funky machine indeed. Absolutely legendary during the Group A rally era. Phenomenally quick, 2-litre turbocharged 4. The big spoiler on the back for the downforce. They were astonishing things in period. And next to that, even more astonishing, Lancia 037, showing off the mid-mounted engine. This was pushing Group B rallying to its limit, really. There is so little left of any recognisable production car in there. But again, phenomenally quick, and I think the last rear-wheel drive car to win the World Rally Championship, 1981 or 2, I think. Struggling for memory on that. Both these vehicles, I believe, owned by Dyer AD tyres, or A&D tyres in Aberystwyth. Very good for tyres. For something entirely different, standard 10, slightly posher than the standard 8. You got this fancy little grille rather than just a hole in the middle of the dashboard, front panel. 948cc engine, so the engine that went into the Triumph Heralds, and that engine would later go on in 6-cylinder form to power the Triumph 2000s, Triumph TRs, higher up the range. But earlier 8s didn't even have an opening boot, so you know, we're getting quite luxurious by this stage. There's an MR2 just coming in, looking quite racy, sounding quite racy on the brakes as well. MR2 Mark 1.
I saw one of those, but it was in black.
Yeah, sounds quite purposeful.
And it was parked in a driveway.
Yeah, there was.
Utterly distracted by that.
Yeah, right. Back to the lineup. MGTF, the last of the T-type midgets. Come and have a look at the dashboard. So by this stage, even the dials are shaped in the same way as the MG badge. Lovely things. These were available with 1250 and 1500cc engines in the early to mid 1950s. Now we're getting a bit long in the tooth by then, really. Bentley Continental, looking quite resplendent there in black, making the MG TF look absolutely tiny. Yeah, good number plate. Is that someone who runs one of the Portaloo companies around here, I wonder? And that is very nearly 2p. There's a Mercedes-Benz of some nature. That should be on my radar because it isn't that new on a 51 plate, but somehow isn't. And we're going to go and have a sneaky badge check. Very clean condition. No clues here. It is a Mercedes-Benz, that's what we tell you. Back to the classics. MGC. Not an MGB. From the back they are absolutely identical. The differences are under the bonnet, where we have not one bonnet bulge but 2 bonnet bulges, because it has the 2912cc 7-bearing 6-cylinder engine shared with the Austin 3-litre and nothing else. So looks like an MGB, but it's actually very different. The front suspension entirely different, uses torsion bars rather than the double wishbones. And next to that we've got a Morris Cowley, which I'm dating must be late 20s, early 30s. You can see just how skinny these older cars are, but you know, got a little pull down blind in the back if you need a bit of privacy, or people are blinding you with their headlamps. A little Mercedes-Benz SLK next to it with a compressor, supercharger, and then the MR2. This looks like a quite serious sort of rally or track machine, evidently road legal. Oh yeah, gotta get your photos in. Like the cute little pop-ups. Got air intakes sneaking in here as well. I wonder what engine's in the back. We may never know. Is that a Twingo? I think it is a Twingo, isn't it? A Twingo RS. Look at the windscreen wiper. Very, very complex. Yeah, Renault Sport Twingo. So there you go. This is the second generation of Twingo. We're not quite as wacky as the first. But you have got this incredibly intricate wiper mechanism, which still leaves a massive triangle of doom right in the middle of the windscreen.
That is a big wiper.
Yeah. And we got a replica 7 here. Oh, it has got a Lotus badge on it, and it is also from Paul Matty Sports Cars, who are Lotus specialists. So could it be the real deal? No, it's got Caterham in here. So it's a Caterham Super 7, a company that has made Lotus 7 replicas for a very, very long time. Now, here's a car I didn't expect to see today. Lotus Carlton with the twin turbo 6-cylinder engine, headlamp wiper moment. big fat body kit, and they look black in most lights, but today we can actually see it is actually metallic green, a really deep metallic green, full leather interior, 6-speed gearbox out of the Chevrolet Corvette ZR1. At 176 miles an hour, it was the fastest production saloon of its day back in the early 90s. And this isn't that unique around here. We know of another one that lives in the county, so they are out there. This is my friend Di's Ford Mustang, which I believe is supercharged, 5-litre V8. We saw this at the Cars and Coffee Meet down in Cardigan, along with the Gecko Photography Fiat Panda next to it. Oh, they're revving up the Morris Cowley. Did you hear the power? Very striking vehicle. And again, making the Fiat Panda look absolutely tiny. Ford Fiesta next to it with some absolutely delicious wheels. That colour. My mate John's Peugeot 504. He reckons this is the oldest surviving 504 pickup in the UK. It's got proper poverty headlamps, not the big fancy ones of the saloon. And it is French built. Later 504s sold in the UK were built in Argentina. And for reasons known only to John, he has a penny farthing in the back. Maybe he's going to do some demonstrations for us later on. But yeah, wonderful, wonderful vehicle. So rare to see a 504 pickup. They were absolutely everywhere for a time. And next to that is my friend Barry's Citroen BX, which gets spotted a lot in Aberystwyth. I've captured it many times over the years. It's a 19 TXD. It's the non-turbo diesel, but dressed up to look a bit like a GCI, as was the way with these sort of last of the line BXs. It's about 92, which is quite late for a hatchback. Nice Audi Quattro next to it. It's even got a fairly local number plate on it. That's good to see. Alfa Romeo Giulia, and in the most stunning shade of green. The colour contrast between those two is just absolutely marvellous. Yeah, that is quite the beast. I'm not into moderns really, but that is a beautiful looking car. And the brakes are absolutely enormous, front and rear. Next to it, I think this is an Austin 10. I'm not, yeah, Austin 10 Drivers Club. There's a good clue. Always look for the clues. It's like a bigger 7, really. And next to it, one of the more interesting cars of the day. It's a Gilbern. I think it might be a Gilbern Genie. I'm not too hot on the differences between the Genies and the early Invaders. Oh, what is your fact about this car?
It's Welsh.
It is Welsh, yes. A German racing driver and a Welsh butcher came together to make the Gilberns. And this one's an absolute beauty. Lovely, lovely condition. Big chunky rear lights, which I think might be a Ford Transit pickup. They're of that ilk. It is for sale. There is no price mentioned. Mightily tempting. So very, very nice. Over here, TVR Griffith. Excellent reuse of Vauxhall Cavalier rear lights, of Citroen CX door mirrors, and of the windscreen washer spray bar from a Citroen BX. But I love these cars. I think they're absolutely beautiful. Just wonderfully styled, wonderful interiors. Very, very nice. And next to that, a rival from the same sort of period, Porsche 911 Turbo, 964 generation. Phenomenal machines. Go and check out the enormous whale tail. And we also get a pantograph rear wiper moment. 2 arms there on the rear wiper. Wonderful. That's probably not what most people get most excited about, but this is Hubnut, so we do get excited about windscreen wipers. And there we go. That's a walk around complete. Just a nice little show. It's nice to come out. It's only existing for a couple of hours, but I think it is going to be a regular meet. It'll be interesting to see if other cars come to future events. But yeah, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in a future video. Farewell.